having such a diverse taste in music is not always an easy gig. I say this because, although there's a lot of people who are such fans of music, there's, certain, genres that that they just can't stand. Like I sort of fit into that category because there's certain genres I can't stand. Like too much rap I don't listen to, especially like new shit that comes out, and like I cannot stand country or modern pop or any of that garbage, overplayed shit on the radio, you know. I tend to like listen to like a lot of, you know, I mean, like I said, the only station that I would listen to nowadays is just XRT, and because they diversify a lot of good stuff because other radio stations nowadays they just play the same old shit and but one primary example of music elitism that has become like such a common thing is, you know, death metal and black metal fans always seem to dislike, other types of metal, especially new metal, because I guess, a lot of, fans of that genre don't exactly believe that new metal is, a superior type of metal. Like they think it just does not have like the darker edge as like such bands like Death or Cannibal Corpse have. They always seem to diss groups like Linkin Park or even Marilyn Manson, and like nowadays even Slipknot, because I guess they believe that they've become like so commercial. And well, I mean, it's kind of true to some extent because their music is played on the radio as at one point or another, on like local hard rock stations, especially ones in Milwaukee. Like, I have like pretty much, limited my taste in death metal over the years to the point where I don't even know which death metal band has become the hot band as of right now. You know, I mean, I guess, at some point I'll catch up on it, but I like to, have an open mind for the most part. And in regards to new metal, like I don't like I pretty much dig it. I dig a lot of good new metal bands, and there's quite a few bands that even like the more well known bands I'm still trying to get into a lot more. Like I'm trying to find more CDs from those bands, and but I like to look for the bands that that have barely gotten off the ground. You know, that 5.0 album I showed you guys in a previous video, a few years ago. That's a major example. But another great example of a certain new metal band that has barely gotten off the ground, despite some airplay, back when they were, around, is this band. This is a band called Boiler Room. They started off as like a very, low key DIY band, back in the mid 90s. And they had like more of a like a groove metal funk type sound. As opposed to like the new metal sound that that they were known for after releasing this album. This is their second album, Can't Breathe, released in 2000 by Tommy Boy Records. But like before they became like so, before they became like a well-known band, they like I said, they started off low key. Like during like the late 90s, they opened up for, such bands as like Type of Negative, Clutch, and Static X, some other like you know major headliners back in the day. But then that's when they got discovered by a local hard rock station who signed them on to be one of the headliners for Orgy, you know, in like the late 90s, 1999, before they released this album. So then they had released this album. This, the band originally signed on to Roadrunner Records, but then there was just quite a few inexplainable record label conflicts that happened. So I mean, I don't exactly know the whole story beyond what happened, why they changed record labels, but I guess after a major conflict occurred, they re-signed on to Tommy Boy Records. I originally knew of this band because they appeared on that compilation album that I used to own, The Return of the Rock Volume One. If you guys saw a previous video I did for the band Full Devil Jacket, that I mentioned having that album in that video, you know, and this their song "Do It Again" was the one that appeared on that compilation album. It is not a cover of that Steely Dan song. No, this is a very different song, with different lyrics and totally different melody. They're two different songs, so don't get fooled by it. But I really enjoy this album. I really think that this is a band that does not get the credit that it deserves. Before, like I said, before they released this album, they released another album, but that album has yet to be found anywhere. Like even in in like bottom rack, sections of record shops. I guess maybe, you know, like I said, they started off very low key because, you know, they were a local band, but this album is still extremely underrated, despite it being the band's most recognized album. I really like the drum, because it kind of sounds like in a in a few verses of "Do It Again," the drums sounds like something in "Blind" by Korn. Just the introduction with the drumsticks on the metal thing, and the rest of the album is just extremely crisp and very very nostalgic for going to good places Family Values or Ozfest. I'm not sure if this band ever appeared during at those festivals, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did because they do fit that category. More underrated bands that that headline for the big shit if well I'm not going to get into that detail because that will be for a future video. But anyway, so Boiler Room, if you're into stuff like Korn or Orgy or any other of the bands that I mentioned of who they opened up for, I would check this band out. I'm sure a lot of new metal fans know who this band is because to the most loyal new metal fans, I'm sure that this band has kind of become more basic. But for those who are still catching up on new metal, like I am, there's a lot of bands that on the list that I still need a bunch of CDs that I'm still gonna look for. But I found this in the clearance section of Half Price Books in Schaumburg. Just actually like 6 months ago. Yeah, they still got a pretty good selection. I go there all the time, like I said in other videos. And But like I said, I'm still on the lookout for other new metal acts, you know, including some more well-known bands that I have yet to catch up on. But if you are into, if you are like a loyal new metal fan, definitely check this one out if you have not heard of it yet. And I would seriously recommend it. Like I said, and like besides "Do It Again," Dave, all the other stuff like "Insomnia" is a good song, and "Hopeless." That's a pretty grim, track. I mean, the whole album is grim. I mean, but I definitely, pick this one up especially if you see it for like $2. That's how much I paid for it. When I bought this album. And if you can find it anywhere, just pick it up and crank it up and see what you think. So, Boiler Room. Their album Can't Breathe, released in 2000 through Tommy Boy Records. Thanks for watching.